welcoming you to the Main Source Network. Today we have on the line the Minister of Education of the Black Talmidim. So we welcome Brother Kimathi Melakuel to the program. How you doing, my brother?
Shalom, shalom. Thanks for having me.
Shalom, brother. So we understand that the Black Talmidim is actually launching a campaign to stop our brothers and sisters from using the N-word and actually embrace a word called Negus. Can you break that down, brother, and tell us what that actually means for the listeners?
Absolutely. Well, Negus is a Shemitic word from the Ethiopic language phylum such as Ge'ez or Giez, depending on the different pronunciations. And Negus essentially means king. It's a masculine noun for king. And this was the word used and title used in Ethiopia, a royal term for categorization. This is the way they categorize themselves in the kingly line or the royal line, Negus.
Now, why is that important? Because you have a lot of people who use the N-word. It flows out their mouth like water. And from what I understand, that the N-word is taken from the Portuguese slave traders, actually. The way it's used in America today to describe black people is taken from the Portuguese slave traders in the 15th century. And it's just, it's an adjective meaning an inanimate object, and it just means the black. So why is it important today, brother, to change that spelling and to change that definition based on what's happening on the streets to Negus?
Indeed. Well, it's important because what it does is it informs us how the oppressor is always using counterfeit. They're always taking African culture, African terms, and corrupting them. You know, we see this in movies with Hannibal, but the Silence of the Lambs. We see this in ancient African civilizations. There's always a corruption of terms. So when you look at the term nigger or nigga, you know, as it became later used in modern times, we began to see that it's nothing more than a linguistic corruption of an African word. Again, Giez being a Southern Semitic dialect. In the period of Sankofa, which means return, you know, where we have this human task, you know, to return to our cultural and linguistic origin. And so by using these original terms, what it does is it informs us on language liberation, and we end up not using terms that reinforce our own inferiority and enslavement.
Now, brother, let me ask you this real hard question. Based on the mindset of many of our young people and how the word is so prevalently used in society today, do you really think just changing the word is really going to have an impact on these young people out there in the streets?
Well, what has to happen is there has to be an elevation of consciousness through education. You know, each one teach one. You know, whenever we're talking to our brothers and sisters in the community, it's important for us to inform them, you know, about the origins of this word and how it was misused, repackaged, and put out there to indoctrinate our minds. So what it's going to take is education, you know, because words are vibration. When you put those words out there in the universe, you know, it has a vibration to it. And so the words that we speak has to be terms that reinforce a positive self-image and a positive identity. And words like nigga or nigger does the exact opposite because, you know, it comes from our oppressors. So what we want to do is we want to educate the masses of our people on, you know, our history and the origins of how these words were really appropriated.
And dealing with what we're dealing with in society right now with the police shootings of unarmed black men, I guess you would say developing a stronger self-image would actually counter even that. Because I guess even in the mind of the oppressor, I guess it's easy to shoot down somebody in cold blood who you consider a nigger than it is to assassinate a Negus, meaning a king.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because nigga or nigger, you know, is a thing. You know what I mean? It's a word that essentially means slave, because no one else, you won't find a nation of people called Negro, you know, or nigger. You're not going to find that. You know what I mean? Names, or should I say nations, connect us to land and a heritage or a people or even a deity.
Mm-hmm.
And words like nigga or nigger connect us to neither one. So if they can manipulate definitions, then they can shape and form a destiny for you, and hence the killings that are taking place across the country.
So you've heard it, brothers and sisters. The Black Talmidim is calling for everybody to stop using the word nigger and instead replace that with the word negus. Thank you for joining us, brother.
No doubt, no doubt. Thanks for having me, Minister.
And we leave you with our closing. Although we have been victimized, yet we are not victims. We are strong African people, and in the fullness of time, in the Creator's will, we shall rise again. As I leave you, my brothers and sisters, in the words of peace, Shalom Aleichem.